planned for this episode. Okay. No, you don't have to do anything. Okay, he's a webcomics artist. BunnyVomit.com is his regular comic strip. You might have that on your program there. Otherwise, look it up later, BunnyVomit.com. He's a haiku master. He's a karaoke performer. In other words, he and I have a lot in common. His name is Birdie Birdashaw, everybody. Birdie, my friend, thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, perfect.
We have a lot in common.
We sure do.
We both make comics.
Yeah.
We both write poems. We both shamelessly promote those things on social media.
That's what we have to do. That's the artist's life.
Indeed. And then we...
Until they started paying us in booze to do comics, but that's the rumor.
Living the dream. And then we both... You got paid in booze to draw comics?
Yeah.
Well, how did that happen?
I think I would just draw pictures and people just gave me beer.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. Right.
And then we both also like to sing karaoke. In fact... We finally did our Air Supply duet last week. It was a dream come true.
It sure was. That's one of the reasons why I moved to Arizona now, I'm going to say.
Was to do the Air Supply duet.
Let's do Air Supply, because no one else appreciates Air Supply as much as I think you and I do.
It's true.
Unironically, I'd also have to say.
Absolutely. We make our love for Air Supply out of nothing at all, I would say.
We are definitely not all out of love.
No, we were lost in that love, in fact. That's one of the reasons I like Air Supply. If you look on the back of their greatest hits, Lost in Love, All Out of Love, Making Love, it's really, they took every trope with the word love, and they were just like, love into love, I'm in love for love, I'm in love with love. They had a great niche.
I can't argue with that.
You said move to Arizona, though, meaning that you're not a native. So where are you from, and how did all of this start?
Well, I spent my last 15 years before I moved here in Florida, mostly Jacksonville, which is oddly enough, like, it's a lot like here, except for the Mexican food is worse, and it's a different kind of racism, I discovered.
Oh, okay.
And then before that, I lived in Colorado. That's where I mostly grew up. And then I spent, my dad was Air Force. I spent a few years in Japan and Las Vegas before that happened.
Oh, wow, okay. So you've been around the world.
Yeah.
And you're still looking for your baby. I don't know. That's not Air Supply at all. It was Taylor Dane. So when did you start drawing comics? How'd you get into comics?
I started my first webcomic in 2003 while I was in college. I was always drawing...
And for the over 60... What is a webcomic, real quick?
A webcomic is essentially a comic that instead of having to look for it in a library, look for it in a bookstore, look for it in a comic shop, you can actually just go on the internet and read the comic.
Oh, okay.
Which made it very open because you can do any style of comic on the web because you're only limited by the screen space and paying for your servers and such. So a lot of people do like full-page comics. I've always loved the comic strip form, so I started doing a humor strip, which eventually, after a couple dozen years, it became actually funny.
It's called Bunny Vomit.
This current one is Bunny Vomit.
And I love why it's called Bunny Vomit, because I didn't know this.
Yeah, I learned a long time ago on NPR that bunnies can't actually vomit. They don't have a gag reflex.
Did you guys know that? I didn't know that. It's such an educational show.
But when I heard that, I thought, well, man, if they could, it would be so cute. Because it's bunnies and they can't help but be cute in whatever they do, but it'd still be gross because it's vomit. And a lot of my art and humor is kind of that very cute and a little crude and gross, and it just seemed to fit. And so I called my called my art studio Bunny Vomit. And then eventually when I decided to get the website, I found bunnyvomit.com was no one took it, so it's mine. Always in France.
Very cool, very cool. So you're in Jacksonville, you're drawing webcomics. You're also a haiku master.
Yeah, I discovered poetry in college, and when I was taking a creative writing class, the professor was teaching me, he asked me what I liked more, writing prose or poetry, and I said, or non-prose. I said, well, I kind of like poetry because I really like the idea of, I'm not a fan of like free form in the most part. I like very structured poetry, so he recommended haiku, which to me feels like the most strict form of poetry. And it became something I just practiced, and it helps a lot with writing comics too, because you got to take all the fluff and fat out of a conversation and just get to the bullet points to set up the joke and then do the punchline.
The economic use of words.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, we were going to do this earlier, but let's do it now. We're going to make it a web exclusive.
Okay.
So what we're going to do now is take haiku suggestions from the audience. I'm going to write them down.
All right.
After our interview, you will write haiku based on these suggestions. And then we will record a video tonight, within minutes of ending this episode, of the haiku you wrote, and it'll be on our YouTube channel as an exclusive, with the guarantee, with the promise, that everything was very spontaneous, improv, and it happened within just a short amount of time of the production of this episode. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Are you guys cool with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll take some suggestions, and what's best, 1 or 2 per haiku, or you just want one word that will create a singular haiku, or?
Any concept, as long as it's under 8 syllables. That's all I'm going to ask.
Okay, so yeah, the suggestion itself shouldn't be more syllables than the haiku can manage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like anti-disestablishmentarianism, it's just a little too long.
A little too long. Okay, so don't be completely self-indulgent here, people. But he will write a haiku based on your suggestions. We'll take 5 suggestions.
Yeah, that works.
You'll write 5 haiku with the rest of the production of this episode, and it'll be a web exclusive for our YouTube channel. So a suggestion for a haiku, anyone? Yes, sir.
Bubblegum.
Bubblegum. Okay, I'll write these down for you.
All right, thank you.
Another one. There's one. Yes.
Germs.
Germs. Okay.
And just to let you guys know, these don't have to rhyme. I've had people suggest I do purple and orange as a haiku thinking they'll stump me, and they feel bad when he rhymes out. They don't rhyme, so.
It's not a limerick. It's okay. Another suggestion for a haiku. Any word, any concept?
Fist fucking.
Fist.
Well.
Oh, that's my specialty. Thank you.
No, there's a whole other avenue. One thing we don't have in common, let me just establish, that the comics, poetry, and karaoke, it ends there.
That's not what Kathy Griffin told me.
Hey-oh! I expect this on HLN, but not on CNN! Okay. We need 2 more. We need 2 more.
Hippopotamus.
Hippopotamus. Hippopotamus. That's like a 1 line right there. Okay, that's easy. It's almost easy.
Oh, that's too easy.
Hippopotamus. You'll know what that means. 1 more.
Kanye.
Kanye.
Another specialty.
The cool thing about a Kanye haiku is you could stop that halfway through, and it's a Kanye All right, so I'm going to give these to you after our segment. You'll write haiku as the rest of the show progresses, and then practically immediately after we end the episode proper, we'll film a special segment, web exclusive. Folks can see it on our YouTube channel. Cool? Okay, that'll drive some traffic.
Yeah.
To the old YouTube, finally! No more of my peeing in the streets, and we'll talk about that later. Okay, so
we're talking about.
How did you get into this whole crazy haiku writing?
It
The
was
economy of words?
Yeah, the economy of words, and it became a practice. And then it got to where I would end like emails to people, or I would try to write a blog post, and I'd end each one with a haiku to kind of succinct this, I might write 2 paragraphs about why I hate the color yellow or something, and then I just, bam, write a haiku at the end. And eventually I just wanted to write haikus about everything. I just challenged myself. Eventually there was this app called Twitter. It's a very little known app. But I learned, it's like, wait, I could use my flip phone and type a haiku and have it saved on the internet for all to convey. So if you're curious about the 27,000 other haiku I've written, it's on twitter.com/haikubirdie with an IE.
Birdie, I-E at the end.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it just became a practice. I did a comic for 4 years where I wrote strictly in haiku, and it just became my stupid poet trick.
Very cool, man. Yeah, I dig it. So what are you working on now? You got the Bunny Vomit coming out?
I have Bunny Vomit. Bunny Vomit's kind of a catch-all title. It's basically a story about a drunk bird. It's not autobiographical, despite what a lot of people think.
I actually have a visual here that I can hold
It's
up.
about a drunk bird who does art for a feminist zine, and gets into a lot of trouble. I'm also doing a side project called Hot Dog. It's about a pizza delivering, skateboard riding dog. And then my newest project is to combine my love of comics and poetry. I'm doing my own zine, monthly zine right now called Plomofo, the Poor Motherfucker Zine. Now, Bunny Vomit and Hot Dog are an all-ages comics, so I'm not very vulgar or crude, and I try not to push any buttons, but Pomofo, I'm just kind of letting it all hang out with the fist fucking and the peeing on Kanye and all those other wonderful things you like to know about in comic and poetry form.
This is another cool little thing you made.
Oh yeah, I did a one-page comic about one of the greatest video game characters of all time, Super Mario.
It sequentially unfolds like this, so you could read the story as you interact with the piece of paper. Basically.
Yeah, and it's based on this theory I have that the character of Super Mario, his first name is actually Super and his last name is Mario. Because anyone who names their child Mario, it just either has a massive head wound or just really wants to have the kid picked on forever. So the comic's called Don't Call Me Mario.
Or hates needing to remember 2 names, you know.
But they don't, it's like, there's Luigi.
There's Luigi. And so his
but
name
it
is
explains
Luigi
what,
Mario.
Yeah.
I see, okay.
Because it's Mario Brothers, you don't call them the Luigi Brothers or the Super Brothers.
Absolutely right. Finally, John Turturro gets his due. Didn't he play Luigi?
No, that was John Leguizamo.
Oh, I got my Johns mixed up. Well, let's go back to
This is what I said about different kinds of racism from Phoenix.
Now I gotta keep it. Now I gotta keep that in there. Thanks a lot.
Sorry.
And then you have this, the Big Time Funnies that you've contributed to as well.
Yeah, this is part of the hot dog contribution. This is a group of, there are so many comic artists in Phoenix, and there's so much great talent. I'm lucky to be a part of it. And so we're trying to put out a monthly paper. It's 8 pages as a full-page Sunday comic. This is mine, Hot Dog. You'll also see the Birdie character makes a cameo in this one. And there's Kanye jokes in there too. It's Kanye.
Did you have, was it a plan when somebody said Kanye? It wasn't a plan.
I hope not. That's
No. He's just that beloved universal.
I didn't make Trump jokes yet, so that was it.
So it sounds like you're busy. You have your weekly webcomic, your
Daily webcomic.
your daily webcomic.
Buddy Moments 5 days a week.
5 days a week. You have your monthly Pomofo zine. These little things when they come to you, and then you contribute to this as well.
That one's supposed to be monthly or bi-monthly.
Wow, and that's just on the comics end. That's not even including your poetry and the nights you're free for karaoke.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, man. You are a busy creative force in the valley.
That's why I'm single. It's 'cause I'm
Do we want to make a pitch now to the interwebs? If there's
Is there a lady out there who likes very short poetry?
It's not the length of the poem, ladies. It's how a man uses those syllables. And we said bunnyvomit.com, that's where folks can find it. So, okay, you were going to write these haiku, and we're looking forward to hearing them on our YouTube. Anything else we needed to plug? Or,
No, I think that's everything.
All right, man. Well, I'm so glad you were able to come on the show.
No, I'm glad to be here. So
Considering-
good work and
Well, thanks, man.
on the show.
All the things we have in common, I think it was...
It's like we're like some sort of soulmate.
Some sort of. Yes, I would say some sort of. I don't think you would catch me wearing a mustard-colored sweater if I dare quote your own work. Oh, man, but to do so might mean, if I know it that well, maybe there is something.
You're gonna find a woman with a mustard sweater and you're like, you need to talk to my friend Birdie.
Is that,
Birdie lonely.
I'm quoting that correctly, right?
Yeah.
Where was that in here?
It's the last page.
Oh, it's on the last page. I'm pretty certain my soulmate will be wearing a mustard-colored sweater is the first line of this poem.
Yeah.
And I just quoted it in the context of us being soulmates. Good night, everybody. Birdie Birdashaw.